Good morning, everyone. We're glad you could join us today by being on our Hangout or watching the recording. I know a lot of you will be watching the recording, so you won't see the chat box. So we'll try to, if there's questions and things like that that are going on, we will try to remember to bring that out verbally so that you can hear it on the recording. Okay, so the important thing that we're going to be talking about here is that Mandalay has made an announcement a couple of days ago about trade-in options for various devices will no longer be available. Now, we have mentioned this on a few Hangouts already. We have talked about it before. I had mentioned that this was going to be coming, and so the announcement was actually officially made. So I want to talk a little bit about what does it mean, why is it happening, what does it mean, how does it affect you, and for those of you who want to do a trade-in, how do you do that? Now, the situation is coming up for, it's been coming for years. It's actually something that I have actually been quite surprised that this, Fernando, you're disappearing.
Sorry, I'm so distracting.
I've been surprised that they have been able to offer it this long, honestly. When the Quest 9 came about and we had discussions about, offering the trade-in, I can't remember if it was Fernando and I both or me by myself or whatever. The point is, we asked specifically if they would add QXEIs to the trade-in list and serial SKIOs to the trade-in list, because they were going to offer it for Indigo and for a Duke Door, but leave those other devices out. So we asked them to actually allow QXEI owners and serial SKIO owners to do that trade-in option, and they accepted that. So here it is, 3 years later, and they're now stopping that opportunity. So for those of you who took part in that trade-in, you have the wonderful new Quest 9 device. For those of you who have not, you have one more opportunity to trade in that device. So I want to talk a little bit about what that opportunity looks like from a technical aspect. Okay, let's start with the QXEI. The QXEI was a device that was built, I say 100 years ago. It's the first device that any of you probably have, the oldest device that any of us have that would be on this call. The QXEI device was a parallel technology, a parallel port, and a power adapter is what was used to get that device to actually connect to the computer and have it the power that it needs. That technology has long been gone. In 2006, they discontinued the QXEI device. That was a long time ago. So the QXEI device owners were offered the ability to trade in to the SKIO device. The serial SKIO device was the first opportunity because that was the next technology, the serial SKIO, which only was manufactured for, I think it was 1.5 to 2 years before the USB serial device came out in 2005. So, QXEI was offered trade-ins, actually for all the devices. They were offered trade-ins for the Indigo device when the Quantum Alliance set that device in motion. They were offered, I don't know if they were offered it for the Duke device, but I can't remember. But since 2018, you've had the opportunity to trade in that old technology to the new Quest 9. Now, from a technical aspect, the parallel technology is gone. The serial technology is really gone too. Nothing is being developed with serial technology. And for those of you who don't know what I mean, the way the ports work on a device, any device. I mean, we'll call it the medical device. We'll call it any other kind of a device that you attach to a computer. There's a communication that has to happen between the computer and that device. And that's what we're talking about, the communication technology, which was parallel, which was a 25-pin port that was attached to the back of the device. Then the serial port was a 9-pin port, so then it needed the 9-pin communication on the device, which later was able to convert to USB technology. Well, now then we've had USB 2, and then the adductor came out, it was USB 3, and then the Quest 9 is also USB 3, and the USB 3 is what they call backwards compatible to USB 2. So you might be going, what's he talking about? You know, those are all things that you don't really have to worry about. We do. We worry about it. And then Mandalay has that in their programming. They have to program for that communication. So when Mandalay says their new technology or their new software is for USB SKIOs and newer, it's because they don't have the programming components built into the software, because it's not available anymore, for serial technology and for parallel technology. So those technologies are gone. They don't exist anymore in software, in programming. So so there's a couple of different technical aspects to this that make that trade-in important. And the reason why Mandalay has continued to make new devices as time goes by is because technology changes. It's not that they're doing it. It's not that they are wanting you to trade in so they can get more money out of you or anything like that. That's not the point. The point is keeping the technology moving with the technology that the world is going through, right? We don't have control over that. None of us do. It's just happening. It's just how it goes. And so from the technical aspect of trading in those devices, pretty soon you won't have software to use with those devices. So that's an important factor to know. Okay. Now the USB SKIO and the adductor, the Indigo and the Quest 9 are all USB technology, which we feel is going to still go on for a while, because we'll call it the technology industry, the computer industry. They're sticking with USB. USB is going to continue to advance, but USB technology will still be backwards compatible for as long as we can tell the future holds. So, but you have another technical situation with regards to those devices. The serial SKIOs cannot be repaired any longer. If a serial SKIO, like I just had one a couple of weeks ago, a serial SKIO had a board that basically exploded. I mean, a power surge destroyed the board, cannot be repaired. There are no repair parts available for that older technology. So the only thing we could do with that is either get them into a USB SKIO or the newer Quest 9 device. So you see that technology becomes a problem when there are no more repair parts, when technology has passed that by, basically. Now the Indigo, the only repair parts for the Indigo that was made by the Quantum Alliance, the Quantum Alliance fell apart, we'll say, in late 2012. And then they have survived in a different way. I won't get into all the details, but that problem has gotten worse since 2012, since the Quantum Alliance basically fell apart. It's only gotten worse. It hasn't gotten better. Now, there have been, Quantum World Vision has made this new Indigo Renew program, I think they call it, which is where they basically refurbish the device and turn it into a newer version of the Indigo. But as I had mentioned on one of our previous Hangouts, which is another reason why the Hangouts are so important for all of you. You hear the news. Um, they were trying to get everyone to pay in advance for parts that they haven't even designed yet. So that was, in my opinion, that's kind of the wrong way to do that, because in Quantum Alliance's history, they have made that kind of a process several times, and it has always failed, where they have the people finance a design or finance something way in advance, and here it is, um, you know, end of July, and it still hasn't been realized. So that's 7 months now, and they don't have that resolved. So, you know, we don't know where that's going to go, but that could possibly still fail in the future. And then the Indigo device owners, the only way you have any way of repairing your device, should something happen, is the parts that we have in stock from the Indigos that were traded in. You know, used Indigos right now are being used as repair parts, you know, and I have the only stock for that. So that's the only opportunity that it looks like technologically for the Indigo going forward, and that's not going to last very long. Then you have the adductor. The adductor, there are no parts available for the adductors anymore. And so in Mandalay's database, we'll say, in Mandalay's group of people that they're working with, there's only about 150 people or 150 adductor devices in the Mandalay group, we'll call it. So that's a very small number. So for Mandalay to move forward with programming for 150 devices is very, very costly, you know, and eventually, because of the way that technology is on the adductor device, they won't be able to do that either. And so we already are seeing those facts coming true today. So as with any technology, think about laptops. You know, laptops change before you can even, you know, a new laptop is designed today. Ours lasts generally for a year before we redesign a new model. So let's just say every year technology is changing in computers. So and you know, we don't have any control of that. Even as a computer manufacturer, I don't control that. You know, the parts manufacturers, the technology that's being built controls that. So you see where I'm going. We need to constantly be moving forward, moving ahead with our technology. Now, some of you might say, but I only use it for myself and for my family. I'm not actually making money with my device. We hear that comment a lot. And you know what? We understand that. However, this is a medical device. You know, these devices are registered in the United States with the FDA. In other countries, they have to go through CE mark. They have to go through ISO certifications and all these different things that are very, very costly for Mandalay to keep up with all of that expense. So there's an expense involved, and we understand that you may not have the money or make the money with the system to be able to afford to do that. But that doesn't change the way that has to be done. You know, there are costs involved.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes.
Just to throw it out, you know, all of you that have been able to benefit from buying a device has known you're buying a Class 2 medical device. It's just very awesome that in a few countries in the United States, if you can afford it, you can take advantage and purchase that, but you still got to play by the rules of owning a Class 2 medical device. So that I just wanted to add that on to what Ron said.
There may be different purposes for people having the device, but the fact is, from the manufacturing side and the sales side, you know, there are costs involved that have to be realized, and technology change. It's nobody's fault, but it is still going to keep going that direction. So here we are at a crossroads. Technologically, we have the older devices that have all these different problems that I had mentioned. And in fact, I think I'm missing something I had wrote down on my notes. No. Oh, no, I covered it all. I covered the programming components. I covered QXEI, Indigo, and Adductor. Skio is still being manufactured, and Quest 9 is still being manufactured. So those two devices, you know, and we have reasons, we have contracts, we have different things that are going on that are keeping those devices going forward. But eventually those devices will change as well. Now the Skio has been, the USB Skio has been on the market since 2005. That's a long lifespan of a medical device being manufactured. You know, that is a very long lifespan. So congratulations to all of us for that. But it's going to change. And, you know, right now, even though the Quest 9 is the current device and it's been out for 3 years now, we have an issue going on right now with the FDA in the United States. We have a very unique issue in the United States. No other country has this issue. Okay, the sales and the delivery of Quest 9s are available right now in every country except for the United States. The reason is because we have a situation with the FDA where the FDA had wanted Mandalay to make some changes. So they put a it wasn't an import a ban or anything like that. They just said, you know, they warned us, do not export any devices into the United States until this issue is resolved, right? So Mandalay had a visit from FDA, and so did we here in Michigan. So, and everything's fine. It's just it hasn't been resolved yet, because as we know from history, the FDA has certain specific things that they do in a certain specific way, and everything is slow. It's a delay.
It's so slow, and the way they handle paperwork from people, you know, it's just it's slow.
Yeah, and so I've had a lot of conversations over the last year and a half with Mandalay, and in fact, I completely agree with the methods that Mandalay is using to resolve this issue. Although it's slow, and we have been, I'll have to say it in a dramatic way, we've been suffering in a sense, because we haven't been able to put out any brand new devices for a year and a half since January of last year. And it's very, you know, difficult for our business to keep, you know, successful without the sale of and bringing in new people into our industry. And so it's been a challenge. It really has, and we still have this challenge. So what we want you to know is there's nothing to worry about. The issue with FDA will be resolved. It is being worked on. In fact, I have conversations with Mandalay, I would say, if not every week, every other week, we're talking about something relating to this. And, you know, a conversation with FDA, a conversation with the consultant that's working with the FDA, the legal team, there's all kinds of different things going on. And everything's moving forward. It's just slow. And there's nothing we can do to change that. And I, as I started to say, I agree 100% with the methods that they're taking, or the steps that they're taking to get this accomplished. I'm involved in all of it too. And so it's a situation that just has to be dealt with on a calendar. You know, it's just, we got to wait for that time to come. So here we are talking about this trade-in they're going to cancel the trade-ins for these different devices, and they have a deadline of September 15th. So how does that affect us here in the United States when we can't ship devices by September 15th? You know, okay, so here's what we have in place. And we've discussed this on the Hangouts before. So now you see the deadline is out, and now you know what we were talking about before, those of you who heard us talk about it. Now is the time to make sure you do something. You know, you have to do something. So the people in all the other countries have to purchase their device by September 15th, their trade-in. They have to start that process of that order by September 15th. Here in the United States, you have to be on the waiting list by that date. You have to be on our list. We have to have an official word from you that you want to be on that waiting list. That can be an email, that can be a phone call, that can be placing an order on our website. Is that still available, Stephanie? Just answer me. The pay by check method, do we still have that method? Because that starts an order, that puts them in line, but you don't have to make a payment until we turn on the order process later on once we were able to have stock here in the United States. So I'm just looking for Stephanie to answer that. We don't have the pay by check anymore. We do have a form. Stephanie's going to post the link in here for those of you watching this recording. All you got to do is email us or give us a call and we'll get you that information. So the point is, you have a deadline too, those of you in the United States. The deadline is get on the waiting list for doing your trade-in. Now here's a comment I wanted to make about that. Let's say you're not sure, get on the list. Let's say you're not sure you're going to be able to come up with money for a trade-in. Get on the list. You hear what I'm saying? Just get on the list. The important thing is to be on our waiting list, because if you're not on that waiting list, you will not have an opportunity after the 15th of September to have your QXCI, Eductor, Indigo, Serial Skio to be able to do the trade-in. Okay? So that list that we have, that we've already presented them our list before, but we have the opportunity to amend that list up until September the 15th. Once that list is sealed with who's on the waiting list, then you know, that's it. And that's because they have to do some preparations there. You know, they have to know in advance how many devices and so forth are the potential for trading. There are costs involved, there is inventory involved, and all these different things. Go ahead, Fernando.
If I can just share the picture of a back of a Serial Skio, so people, because some people
Right.
might not understand. So here is the back.
I can't see it yet.
I know,
Okay.
So here is a Serial Skio. You can tell because, like Ron said, it has a 9-port.
And it says serial right there.
Yeah, it says serial. And then it needs a power cord or batteries to make it operate. So that's your way of knowing that you have a serial port as opposed to an Indigo. I'm sorry, USB.
Yeah, and one more comment though, we're not accepting payments at this time. So we have found out a long time ago it's a really bad way to do business, is to accept payments for something you don't actually have yet. You know, it's kind of like what I mentioned about the Indigo Renew program in Quantum World Vision. It's kind of a risky way to do things because it's just not a practice that we like to do. So we are not accepting payments for devices at this point in time. We just want to know who's going to be on the waiting list. So that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. There's an issue. It's a technology issue, and it's an issue with costs and with all these different things. Now, Mandalay is going to be having a Facebook discussion this coming Friday on Facebook on the what is that?
The Ask.
Proper way of saying that site, the QXCI Skio Indigo Eductor Quest 9 Ask Me Questions group. If you don't know where that is, let us know and we can tag you into that group. And there are some questions you need to answer before you actually get approved to get into that group. So if you're going to be doing that for Friday, don't wait till Friday. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Do not do it on Friday. Okay? Because there's a process that you have to get approved in that group. But keep in mind, if you are on that meeting on Friday, they're talking about the entire world. I don't think that they're going to separate the United States from their discussion. So what you've heard from us today is the difference in the situation. We have a waiting list. We're not taking orders. We're not taking payments. We're just putting together this waiting list that has a deadline of September the 15th. So I want to make sure everybody is clear on that.
Hey, Ron, can you go down the list again of the devices as of September 15th that will no longer be able to be traded in, and then the couple that will be still available for trading afterwards?
The QXCI, which is the parallel port device that basically the software for the QXCI, the only software that really works with the QXCI is software that works on Windows XP. So that's the 2006 version or earlier software. So that has no ability to move forward at all. Yeah, Fernando, I think, is going to show some pictures. The bottom device there, the one that says QMCI on the front of it, is the QXCI device. That is a parallel port device that is available for trade-in only until September 15th. The next one up is the Skio. Now on the back of the Skio device, if your device looks like the Skio that Fernando just showed you a minute ago, where you have the battery tray, the power adapter, and the serial port ports, that is a serial port device that will be available for trade-in only until September 15th. The USB Skio, for the rest of you Skio owners, that device will still be available for trade-in up until the next announcement, maybe. You know, it's going to go beyond the 15th, so beyond September 15th. The device, the fourth device from the bottom, the Indigo device, those devices are available for trade-in until September 15th. The Educator device, which is the one that's kind of a hybrid device between the Skio and the Indigo, the one that's right above the Indigo, it says Educator on the front. That device is also available for trade-in until September 15th. Then the Educator device, you don't get a very good view of it. It's the one in the post office box. You're only seeing the front, but you're not seeing the screen. Second one from the top, underneath the Quest 9. That Educator device is available for trade-in. And you're going to have to listen to the thing on Friday. I think anybody in the United States is going to have the large screen Educator. I don't think anyone has the small screen Educator that I know of. And that's a gray area for me. I don't know if they're going to trade that device in or not. I don't see why not, since the trade-in devices for the Educator are not going to go back out on the market or anything. But, you know, if you do have the small screen Educator, let me know. Get a hold of me directly and I'll find out for you. But the large screen Educator is available for trade-in only until September 15th. And the device at the top is the Quest 9. The lights that you see going across the device is actually a reflection of Fernando's LED lights. It's not actually lights on the device. Just so you know. That device,
I bedazzled mine.
yeah, he put some frills on it. But that device is the newest device, and for those of you who have the Quest 9s, I'm sure you love them as much as we do. But that is the current technology that is being offered with the trade-in. So you would trade your device in for the Quest 9. And the Quest 9 is being manufactured. It's being shipped all around the world except for in the United States right now. But like I said, that will be resolved. And when that is resolved, then everybody that's on that waiting list that we have, that is, the deadline is the 15th of September, you will be in line for that trade-in for the Quest 9. So hopefully I was very clear on everything. Fernando, do you think I missed anything?
I think one thing that's been asked a couple times is when the Facebook event is over, we'll try our best to be allowed to get a recording that we can post in our member portal, but it's not our event, so we have to ask for permission for that. But usually they're pretty accommodating, so I don't see them not giving us a copy of that recording. But, you know, we have to wait and see.
Oh, I see a question about there is no trade-in program to trade in your device to a Skio. No, there isn't. We didn't feel there was a need for it because the Skio is, even though the Skio is a currently manufactured device, If you would want a Skio, I guess we could entertain that idea, but it's not a program that we have currently. So get a hold of me, email me at ron@sstoffice.com to ask that question if you're interested in that. I don't know why you would be. Honestly, to go from a well, I mean, to go from a QXCI or a serial Skio, I could see the point there. So
You know,
but to go
I
from a
went from an
deducer,
Indigo to a Skio with the Mandalay software, and the power the Skio was so much more
it's
powerful than
still
the
an upgrade, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was an upgrade.
Yeah. So you know what? We don't have a program for that at this moment. So if you are one who is considering that, and I mean, I don't know how much money that would save, but we'll entertain that idea. So just email me that. Email me directly on that, and I'll work that out. Actually, email any of us, and they'll get it to me, and we can figure that out. But I'm not sure on that question right now, so I apologize for not having an answer for that.
Veronique asked a good question. Is trade-in getting mandatory then?
No, no, it's not mandatory. Um, it's not mandatory. No, so good question. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, she got in
Um,
late, so she missed why we just started out.
yeah, the big point that I made, and you might want to watch this recording once this is over. Watch the recording. This recording will be posted in our members portal for the Hangout. It will also be clipped and sent out in an email to everyone, and probably on social media as well. But as far as the I mean, my thoughts personally are, if you have a QXCI, if you have a serial Skio, and if you have an Indigo, those are the most important devices really to consider the trade-in, because of all the things I had already mentioned. Programming is not going to be moving forward for those. Well, Indigo, we don't have any software for Indigo anyway. That's all controlled by a different group. And so, and you know where that group is going or has been. And so, I don't want to say bad things about other people or other companies, but you know the issues. So, and we've brought things up about that before with Indigo, but the QXCI has no future. The it's staying in the one place that it has been since 2006. So if you want to keep your QXCI and keep your serial Skio and live with it as long as it goes until someday it gets damaged, or so someday you can't use the software anymore, that's your choice. The opportunity is there for trade-in until September 15th. That's an opportunity. It's not mandatory.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
so it's just so important for people that have the older devices that want to take advantage of it. Now is your time, because that window, that door, it's not a window. That door is closing.
door will be closed. Yeah. And so some of you, and I know it's going to happen because it's always happened with other things before. Some of you who have heard this will not do the trade-in and then ask us for some kind of a favor a year or two down the road, and we're not going to be able to do it. It's
Right.
just not going to be available.
So just to reiterate a statement Ron made earlier. So if you have an adductor, period. If you have an adductor, depending, and because there's about 4 sources of adductors.
Yeah.
Which is why there's so much drama around the adductors, sadly. But yes, all adductors you can trade in if you're on the list before September 15th.
Yeah. So, and I want to make one other point very clear. After September 15th, so September 16th moving forward in 2021 forward, until the next major technology change, the devices that will be available for trade-in will be USB Skio devices and Quest 9s, for the next device or whatever. So really, basically, until there is another new device, USB Skio will be the only device listed for trade-in after September 15th of this year. So you won't get a better deal, um, with your old device anywhere than the trade-in. The trade-in, is pretty much giving you a $10,000 value for your device. I mean, I'm rounding my numbers, but it's basically what it is. You're getting $10,000 for that trade-in. That's basically how you should look at it.
I did want to make one statement. I know many of you have been doing this a really long time, and your device is a special part of your family.
Yeah.
So just understand there's no pressure from SST or from Ron or I for you guys to take advantage of this. So just understand we're just making the manufacturer is making a program available that or a program that has been available in place for a long time is just coming to an end. This happens all the time in other industries. And if you want to, you can keep your device and just purchase a new updated device on as well. You guys, for those of you that have been to my trainings any time these last 3 or 4 years, it's not uncommon for me to run multiple devices on the same client. And so owning more than one to me is necessary. And I know some of you aren't that crazy as I am. So, but I just
Actually, you
want
know what, Fernando? We've had that happen a lot where a lot of people don't want to part with their original device. They want to keep their device. They want to use that for running family members and use get a new device for running clients or use that as a backup or to run some group sessions or something with the other device. There's all kinds of reasons why somebody would want to keep their device. So like he said, we're not pressuring you. It's an opportunity. And I use that word because that's what it is. It's an opportunity. We're not pressuring you. We're not pressuring. We're pressuring you as far as the deadline. Yes. If you're considering it, you better get on the list.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you lose that opportunity. That's the pressure. But like I said, if for some reason you're on that list and you can't do it or you changed your mind or something, you can get off the list.
Yeah.
But you can't get on the list after the 15th of September. So you see my point?
And Jeanette asked a question, do they want everyone to have a Quest 9? No, this ties back to Ron's statement a bit ago, is parts become unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, the question, when someone asked me, can I put up a picture again of the Skios? So here's the two different Skios that are out there. On the left, you've got the serial port and the USB port. Parts for this serial device here on the left are basically gone. And this device stopped being made in 2004. And then there's so many USBs, thousands and thousands that have been being made since 2005, the USB Skios. And, they've gone through so many improvements on the inside. To all of you, they all look the same on the outside. But to someone like Ron, who has to be part of the repair process.
Well, let's do this as an example, Fernando. Let's say the device on the left, your serial port device. Let's say you dropped it. This happens all the time. I've got a Quest 9 in here right now that somebody dropped, and I don't know if it went down a flight of stairs or what, but the thing is a mess. Okay, let's say that happened to your serial Skio. You dropped it, and it rolled down some stairs or you dropped it and somebody tripped and stepped on it or something, and you broke the case. Look at the two cases. Okay, I can replace the case. The top piece, the bottom piece, the front piece, I can replace. I can't replace the back piece, because it's different. I can't replace the battery tray. If anything on the interior of that Skio gets damaged, I cannot fix it. Period. It cannot be fixed. So that's an issue, right? If we had one in here that took a power surge, the board was burned. I mean, you can see, you open it up and you can see the board was burned. The whole board inside is burned. I can't even replace the component. The board has to be replaced. It can't be replaced. So what is that person doing? Getting a new device. So, unfortunately, they can't be repaired. So, you know, if you make the decision to keep your old device, the ones that we're saying will not be available for trade-in, my suggestion is that you better make sure you take care of it. Make sure that you have it on a proper surge protector. Make sure you treat that thing like it's gold, because it won't be able to be repaired. So that's the technological aspect of it. And that's where, if you don't take advantage of the trade-in or getting on that list, then if you do have a problem like that, you're really out basically $10,000. That's a $10,000 issue, because that's the difference between a trade-in and a new system, is roughly 10,000. So I hope you all get the point there. And then what was the other question that somebody put that I wanted to comment on?
How about
Stephanie made a good comment. She said it's not pressure, it's being aware of where things are, so you can make an informed decision and aren't surprised down the road. We want everyone to understand where technology is at. And I want to bring up one more point. Our Hangouts is where we bring you important information, where we bring you the news, where we talk about all kinds of different things on the Hangout. So I noticed there's some extra people on the Hangout today. If you don't regularly get on the Hangout, we don't talk this long about a subject usually. We're 40 minutes in and we're talking about this, but it's an important issue. And usually it's a little bit of news in the beginning for 15 or 20 minutes. We talk about some important things or some things that are coming, sales, different opportunities, things like that. But then we get into questions and answers on different topics, with the device, with the software, with your computers. And I wanted to bring up one point. That's the point I was going to bring up, was about computers. We manufacture laptops. How long do you think parts are available for laptops? Well, back when I started this in 2006, laptop parts were available for years, right? And 2008, our industry took a hit. The computer industry took a major, massive switch and twist on everything. And the biggest thing that we got affected by, two things, were cost and parts availability. So today, even though we have new laptop designs, parts generally disappear within a few years. It's not 7, 8, 9 years anymore like it used to be. Motherboards, they just don't make enough motherboards to stock for replacement parts. Now you got to get to the point where when motherboards are no longer available, you got to repair the motherboards. So, even in the computer industry, even in laptops technology, things change, and you have to deal with the effects of that change. So hopefully this was informative for all of you, and I think that's, unless anyone else at SST has something to say, I think we've said enough on this subject. And
I just got two things to add.
Okay.
So if you're in the United States, get on the list before September 15th if you've got one of those older devices that's going away. If you're in Canada and you have one of those older devices, we can move forward right now. You can contact Debbie at the office. There's no red light.
You have to move forward right now. There is no waiting list for Canada.
Right, yeah. So Canada, if you have one of those older devices, your cutoff is September 15th. Yeah. You're not going on a list.
Mexico, same way.
Yeah. So we just want you guys to know that. So list, US, Canada, the program is, the door is closed September 15th.
Yeah, the only waiting list is the one in the United States.
Right.
If you reside in the United States, then that's the program for you, is the waiting list.
Okay.
But the deadline is still the same for that, September 15th.
Well,
so if you do get on the Facebook thing on Friday, just keep that in mind. The things we're saying here are not going to change with Friday's announcement on Facebook. The waiting list situation is still remaining the same for the United States, whether they bring it up or not. Okay?
Thanks, Ron. Really appreciate you handling that.